After being faced with a court battle from Steam Whistle Brewery based in Ontario, the Alberta NDP decided to change their beer tax policy for the second time in less than a year. The first change came in October of 2015, where importers and producers outside of BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan saw increases of up to $1.15 per litre of production. Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan were exempt due to an agreement between those provinces that prevents trade barriers. The second change dropped in May of this year and essentially pushed the increase across the board, including to British Columbia and Saskatchewan. This was a stunt that the NDP pulled in order to avoid the ensuing court battle with Steam Whistle in an attempt to show that they were now treating all breweries exactly the same way. But the problem with that is that this tactic doesn't magically erase away the issue, because the beer tax in itself is unconstitutional under Section 121 of the Constitution. And then there's the issue of the possibility that the rules of the trade agreement between BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan are now being broken. But that's not where this issue ends. When the NDP brought in the new tax across the board, they simultaneously promised grants to selected Alberta brewers to cover the price of the tax increase. This is clearly a protectionist policy in order to give Alberta breweries an edge instead of favoring free trade. So what's next? A provincial brewery, Alberta Stand Beer Company? The NDP have clearly received a lot of backlash about this decision. Breweries will suffer because they'll have to push price increases onto businesses. Businesses will then suffer from increasing prices because they'll then have to pass the costs on to consumers, and consumers will suffer from increased costs and, of course, a smaller selection of beers available. And now the NDP are just getting desperate. Just over the weekend, they posted a petition for people to sign in support of the protectionist grants. They even go as far as suggesting that the Wild Rose Party would implement a government subsidy for importers, which is completely false. In their six-pack policy on the beer tax, the Wild Rose simply state that they would improve free trade, lower beer taxes, encourage growth, protect consumers, fight protectionism, and stabilize business. Of course, the NDP didn't point to their very own protectionist grants that they're offering only to Alberta brewers. Some have even suggested that the Wild Rose's new proposal is light on details, but who are we kidding? How many shadow budgets or detailed counter policies did Rachel Notley put out in opposition? The purpose of an opposition government is to hold those in control to account, and the Wild Rose Party have done their job. I'm not too sure what else anyone would expect. As far as this all goes, it's just more fear-mongering from the NDP along the lines of what they falsely deem as scary conservative policies. Meanwhile, the NDP really are bringing in protectionist policies that are ending in court battles, which, by the way, the taxpayer is responsible for. What hypocrites. Clearly, the NDP need to clean up their own backyard before pointing the finger at everyone else. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.